So having talked about sort of monitoring user experience, another element of monitoring that's important to have in place if you're going to learn from your production environment, if you're going to learn from shifting right, is to have application performance monitoring in place. And again, here I'm showing New Relic. That is a commercial solution. There are other commercial solutions and there are open source free solutions. I just have this here as an example of the sort of things you want to have in place. And when I say performance monitoring, I'm not just talking about performance in terms of speed. I'm also talking about performance in terms of system health. Are there errors occurring? What does transaction throughput look like, et cetera? And the reason you want to have this in place, if you're going to be testing in production, if you're going to be shifting right, is because as you're applying either one of those deployment strategies, you're going to gradually see real users and your test environments and your test scripts interacting with new code. And you want to be able to identify whether there's anything anomalous happening. So for example, in this screen here, you can see an error rate is spiking toward the end. And maybe that correlates with a feature flag expanding. Maybe I've just bumped from 10% to 20%. And maybe I just ran a test script against that environment to see how it's performing in production. If I see that error spike, then I may want to go back and halt my rollout and maybe investigate that in some way. Now, of course, there's always the possibility of some spurious correlation, but it's a good thing to know and get out in front of if you can. Another thing that I'll note about some of these performance monitors is that they will let you create synthetic tests. These are tests that are not dissimilar from the automations that you're creating in your pre-production environments, but they can be deployed throughout if it's a commercial tool, throughout their network. And you can use those as ways to test the overall stability and performance of your production environment. And you can go beyond just testing to see if it's alive, because I don't know about everyone, but I know I've been burned by applications that in production show themselves to be available and functional, but a particular transaction is not working the way it should. So these synthetic test scripts allow you to record and play back more elaborate transactions. And I just, again, as a slight note to some of our products, I'll note that our Catalan recorder will let you record these and then export them to a number of commercial products. New Relic is what's shown here, but we also do it for App Dynamics and Dynatrace. And you can take those scripts, export them, and then see again in production what is happening around the world. So in this case, I'm seeing my response times from Singapore and Seoul and Sydney. And that gives me the confidence as I'm running that transaction. Maybe it's a transaction that's testing some new functionality that I ran out during my deployment. I can start to get some confidence about that in production by running that test. And it's also, important to be, in particular in the case of mobile applications, be evaluating the performance of APIs and not just your sort of web application, because those are so critical to mobile performance. Again, in terms of mobile applications and the considerations to make in performance monitoring, it's the same ones that we talked about in user experience. You need to think about how you're going to instrument your mobile applications to collect data about their performance. Again, lots of options from commercial and open source, but you want to be able to collect things like how is the mobile system itself performing. When there are failures, crashes on the mobile system, are you able to collect those and learn from those? And again, are you able to get tests to mobile devices around the world on different networks, different geographies, which of course brings us right back to Kobaton and what they provide for everybody. So we talked a little bit about shift right testing, what it is, why we do it, and we've talked about some considerations for how to collect as much information about that through monitoring as you can, so you can learn